So you want to get Arlecchino, but everyone's telling you not to because mavuika is better. But in this video, I'm going to tell you that she is. Yes, mavuika is going to be better, but I'm also going to be explaining why the difference is not even that huge and why it shouldn't really matter as much to you. And if you really like Arlecchino and you want to pull her, you probably just should pull her. Even if you care about the meta, the difference is not going to be that huge. This is the stance that I'm going to be taking in this video. Before we continue that though, if you're trying to get Arlecchino or any other characters, I'd recommend getting your Genesis crystals from LDshop.gg. LDshop is a cheap, fast, and safe game top-up website that offers top-ups for many games, including Genshin Impact. As you guys can see here, these are the offers they have for Genshin, and all of them are cheaper than the official game store, starting off from 15% cheaper and even more. For example, we can see that 3,280 Genesis crystals offer. It costs $50 in the official game store, but here it only costs $39.10. That's 10.89 or more than 21% saved by using LDshop. They also have many other things like bundles, character outfits, Welkins, and stuff like that. But yeah, when you want to buy, just click on the offer you'd like to choose. For example, I'm gonna buy the 300 crystals offer. You only need to enter your server region and user ID. Obviously, make sure they're right, and then click on top up. And then you just choose your payment method, and then enter your details, and then just pay. Shortly after that, you'll just receive the crystals in your account. And right now, if you use my link, you'll get a 15% off coupon and also an extra 5% off. That can save you up to $50. They also have more cool things on the website. For example, if you spend more than $80, that can allow you to win a free Welkin. You can go and check it out yourself, click the link in the description or the pinned comment, and top up now. Alright, so Arlecchino is a Pyro main DPS, simple, normal attacks, Pyro main DPS. She doesn't really differ much from other Pyro main DPSs, you just use normal attacks. She has the whole Bond of Life thing, but in general it's not really gonna matter. How you end up using Arlecchino is basically just normal attack. You have another either Krai or Hydra on your team to have the melt and vaporize reaction, which most Pyro DPSs will like. You have a Viridescent user just above them, and then maybe a shielder because she's weak and maybe has bad resistance to interruption. That's pretty much all her team. Very easy and simple characters at play, and then she's also going to be dealing very good amounts of damage. When she came out, she was probably the best DPS at the time, and she's still strong to this day. So what's the reason most people will tell you not to pull Arlecchino right now? Mainly the reason is going to be mavuika. Mavuika came out after Arlecchino, and honestly, yeah, it's probably one of like the most brutal power creep cases in Genshin Impact we've seen. She's literally just a better Arlecchino. She's also a Pyro main DPS, also some sort of same playstyle you can say. She also uses normal attacks and stuff like that. But mavuika is simply just going to deal more damage. She has more uses. You can use mavuika as a sub DPS too in a lot of teams. She's just the newer character, so she better fits the whole like meta. And even worse than that, they share mostly the same teammates. So mavuika literally comes in to just replace Arlecchino as the better meta Pyro character. And honestly, I'm not here to dispute that. That is mainly true. If we're talking about their best teams, which are basically the same, usually you just want like Set Lally, Bennett, and then a Viridescent user like Sucrose, for example, or Kaza or whatever. In this team, they're both going to be dealing good damage, but mavuika is going to be dealing higher damage, simply put. And as I said before, mavuika is generally just going to have like more utility than Arlecchino. Now, does that mean mavuika is going to be the better meta pick for your account? Honestly, yes. If we're just comparing them purely from like a objective point of view, yes, I'll probably just say just wait for mavuika. But the thing is, in my opinion, I feel like even as a meta follower or a person who just wants to get like the best character on their account, the difference between mavuika and Arlecchino is still pretty small in my opinion. So even if you care about the meta, if you just like Arlecchino, I think it's fine to go for Arlecchino, even though mavuika is technically better. If we take an example, we can see that in like mavuika's best team in general is like a normal build, not very high investment, like C0 mavuika team. Usually that's gonna be around like 115k DPS. And if we're talking about Arlecchino's best premium team, again, nothing crazy, just C0 and just some premium teammates, usually that's going to be around like 105k DPS, or a little less or a little more. But the thing is, as you guys can see here, the difference is just simply 10k DPS. Again, it's pretty rough, but all I'm saying is that it's pretty small, and in a lot of content you wouldn't really be noticing that in general. So Arlecchino is definitely still an S tier DPS in my opinion, pretty valuable. You're simply just going to be able to clear anything with Arlecchino even right now, and even a character that's better than her, and everyone knows that, which is mavuika, is not really that much better in my opinion. Yes, she deals more damage, but even the damage difference is not really that big. She has more utility, but if you don't really need that, if you're not really planning to use mavuika as a sub DPS, which usually she's not the best sub DPS, she's the best in some teams, but if you're not using her with like Milani, for example, or someone like that, you probably can manage with like Ling, for example, or another character. So you don't really need need mavuika as a sub DPS. Mavuika's main role is just gonna be a main DPS. If you're getting mavuika, you're getting her to be like a very good high damage pyro main DPS on your account, and you can almost have the same thing with Arlecchino. That's all I'm saying. This is my whole point in this video. It's just that I feel like people are making the difference to be much worse than it is. And yeah, it is basically a power creep, but in my opinion, they're just simply too similar. And mavuika is a little better, so people will just be like, okay, just go for mavuika. But if you like Arlecchino, she's still fine. Nothing really changed about her. She still holds the same value in my opinion. Mavuika is a little better, yes, but it's not even like a huge difference. I don't think it's like a deadly power creep. It's mainly just for preference. Also, Arlecchino is pretty easy to play in my opinion, which counts for her. She's also more free to play friendly in my opinion too. So honestly, if you want to go for Arlecchino, I'd say just go for it. Even as a meta YouTuber, I tell you the difference is not even that huge. If you need a pyro main DPS, you have decent teammates at least ready for Arlecchino, like at least a premium teammate like Sitlali for example, or Xiaolin. Obviously you have Bennett. If you don't have Sitlali, you can use like Xingqiao for example with another shielder on the team. Obviously the damage is going to be less, but she's still going to be dealing pretty decent damage. I'd say yeah, just go for Arlecchino honestly. She's much more forgiving in terms of like teammates. You definitely don't need very specific teammates. All of her teams, even free to play teams, are going to be dealing very good damage, like 90k damage, which is super good for free to play teams. So yeah, if you want to go for Arlecchino, just go for it. So yeah, her damage is pretty good, and I think it's still going to be pretty good. Honestly, I think the pyro DPSs in general are kind of hitting a ceiling right now, at least for a while in my opinion. I don't think any character is just going to power creep both of them anytime soon. So I think that's just it for pyro DPSs. You have mavuika at the top, yes. Arlecchino is pretty close, and that's probably just going to be it for a while. I don't think anything is going to change, so Arlecchino is still a pretty safe bet to go for in my opinion. And if you really like her and you don't want to wait for mavuika's rerun, or you just simply don't like mavuika, I think it's fine to pull Arlecchino. Even if you're chasing the meta, I don't think it's that different. Again, if we're talking about a purely objective point of view, like you don't care about both characters, you just want like the best pick for your account, like the best meta pick, then in that case, sure, just go for mavuika or wait for mavuika. But if you really want Arlecchino, but it's like hurting your heart because you're hearing people say, no, she's not good anymore, mavuika power creeps her, I tell you right now, just don't listen. It literally doesn't matter. In my opinion, they're both are pretty much in the same tier. Mavuika is a little better, but it doesn't really matter as much. Even if you already have Arlecchinos, I still think her constellations are going to be pretty valuable, especially C1. It's going to increase her damage a little bit and also the resistance to interruption. So if you want to invest in that, still I'd say it's pretty worth it. Again, you don't really need it, but it's definitely a pretty good damage increase. She has some of the best constellations in the game. C1, C2, C3 are going to be pretty good constellations. So in the future, you always have the option to like increase your Arlecchino's output. If she's not the strongest in the future, for example, you can always get around like a 20 to 25% damage increase from C1, then C2. They're all just simply going to be increasing their damage. So I think even her constellations are worth it. Right now, I don't think they are. You probably shouldn't get her constellations right now if you have her C0. Maybe C1 because it's just going to make her more comfortable to play, but they're not necessary. All I'm saying is in the future, for example, if your Arlecchino starts lacking a little bit, you can always get a constellation on her next rerun, and she's definitely going to be good at the time. At 20% damage increase is going to be pretty good. No character is going to be hitting like 200k DPS in the next few years, so you should be fine. You're still going to have a top tier DPS that clears everything. Pyro is a very good element in the game. You usually want a Pyro DPS on your account. If you want one and you like Arlecchino, then go for Arlecchino. And honestly, another point is that if you don't care, then obviously I would say don't pull for Arlecchino and just wait for mavuika, because you don't care, so obviously you just want to min-max everything. So getting mavuika, for example, or even investing in like the new not krai meta might be better, just getting like not krai supports or main DPSs and stuff like that. Obviously today's meta is always going to be better, like slightly better, but if you really like fodder, just want to get her, you just want to play her, you like her story, blah blah blah, and you care about meta at the same time, I think she's a great pick, and you should definitely get her on your account and not listen to anyone. But yeah, that was the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys next video. Peace.